The debate unfolding in Poland over the possible acquisition of nearly 1,000 American Stryker armored personnel carriers under the U.S. Excess Defense Articles program reveals a deeper structural challenge facing the country's defense industrial strategy. On the surface, receiving a massive batch of free vehicles seems like an ideal short-term solution for Poland's rapidly expanding armed forces. The country is in the midst of transforming its military posture, aiming to field several fully equipped divisions capable of deterring or, if necessary, confronting Russian aggression. With only about half of the approximately 2,000 required wheeled armored personnel carriers currently available, the influx of Strykers appears to offer an urgent and straightforward fix. But beneath this appealing exterior lies a complex question: could these free vehicles undermine Poland's domestic capabilities, particularly the long-standing Rosomak production line? At the heart of the issue is the Polish-produced KTO Rosomak, widely regarded as one of Europe's more successful wheeled armored vehicles, built under license from Finland's Patria. For nearly 15 years, Poland has manufactured over 1,000 Rosomaks, integrating them into mechanized brigades and exporting them to several partners. The system has become a symbol of the country's industrial autonomy and technological competitiveness. Nonetheless, the program's future now appears uncertain. While Polish officials have repeatedly emphasized that Rosomak production is fully localized, recent reports suggest that critical dependencies remain with the Finnish licensor, particularly in the supply of specialized components. Negotiations with Patria regarding continued technology access, licensing terms, and potential upgrades have reportedly stalled, limiting Warsaw's ability to scale up or modernize production at the pace demanded by its rapidly growing military structure. This is where the American offer becomes both tempting and destabilizing. Receiving Strykers at no acquisition cost would allow Poland to quickly fill existing capability gaps, accelerate unit formation, and strengthen NATO's eastern flank in the short term. The vehicles, combat-proven and widely deployed, would instantly bolster Polish mechanized infantry, especially amid heightened concerns over Russian military intentions. Yet this short-term gain comes with long-term implications. Maintaining and operating hundreds of used vehicles from U.S. stocks will inevitably require significant Polish funding. Because the Strykers come from U.S. brigades' retired or redistributed inventories, many are expected to arrive with substantial wear. Modernization, component replacement, and system overhauls could impose a continuous financial burden in the years ahead. Over time, maintaining legacy platforms with limited interoperability with Polish-specific systems could prove costlier than anticipated. The more strategic concern, however, is the potential impact on Poland's defense industrial base. The Rosomak facility in Siemianowice-Śląskie relies heavily on steady government orders to sustain its production rhythm, workforce, and supply chain. A sudden shift toward imported or donated platforms, no matter how economically attractive, risks interrupting the demand pipeline. Such disruptions would not only threaten local jobs but also weaken Poland's long-term ability to produce modern armored vehicles independently. In an era when European states are striving to enhance defense self-reliance, sacrificing domestic manufacturing capacity for short-term expediency could undermine broader national objectives. Moreover, the European Union's SAFE program, designed to support defense industrial expansion, might have provided co-funding for new Rosomak orders, an option Poland appears to be sidelining in favor of the faster American alternative. Complicating matters further is the fact that Poland cannot currently expand Rosomak production even if it wanted to. The disagreements with Patria limit the country's ability to introduce new modifications or develop an improved Rosomak variant at scale. Although Finland has offered the updated AMV model, Polish authorities have not advanced negotiations to adopt or license the improved version. Meanwhile, Warsaw's efforts to develop an entirely new indigenous wheeled APC remain at an early conceptual stage. Polish engineers are reportedly focused on the heavy Radal infantry fighting vehicle program, leaving the wheeled platform with no clear domestic successor in the near or medium term. In this context, the choice between waiting for industrial and political obstacles to be resolved or accepting Strykers that can be deployed immediately becomes understandably difficult. Supporters of the U.S. offer argue that Poland can pursue a mixed approach, accept the Strykers now to satisfy immediate defense requirements while simultaneously planning a long-term replacement strategy. Under such a scenario, the donated U.S. vehicles could eventually be placed into reserve storage, transferred to partner nations like Ukraine, or gradually phased out once new indigenous platforms enter service. However, this optimistic vision assumes that Poland will resolve its licensing disputes, invest in large-scale modernization programs, and maintain its political commitment to domestic defense manufacturing. All of these factors are uncertain. If the gap between short-term expediency and long-term planning widens, Poland risks drifting into prolonged dependence on foreign hardware. Another layer of ambiguity is the unknown cost of sustaining the Stryker fleet. Even if the vehicles are free at the outset, maintenance infrastructure must be established, spare parts procured, and training pipelines developed. Unlike the Rosomaks, already familiar to Polish industry and operators, the Strykers introduce a parallel logistical ecosystem. This duplication inevitably drains resources from existing programs and may reduce the financial bandwidth available for indigenous modernization. If support costs escalate, the free vehicles could ultimately constrain Poland more than they assist it. Still, the security environment surrounding Poland leaves little room for leisurely strategic reflection. The immediacy of the Russian threat exerts pressure on Warsaw to prioritize rapid force expansion over industrial purity. From this perspective, accepting the Stryker offer becomes a pragmatic measure, allowing Poland to plug capability gaps and accelerate readiness timelines. When potential conflict looms, governments often accept trade-offs that would otherwise be politically or economically unpalatable. The challenge, then, is finding a balance that ensures both credible near-term defense and sustainable long-term capability development. Ultimately, the Stryker versus Rosomak debate reflects a deeper clash between urgency and strategy. Poland must decide whether its priority is immediate force structure expansion or safeguarding its long-term defense industrial independence. Both paths carry significant risks and potential rewards. The optimal solution may lie in a hybrid approach, but achieving such balance requires political will, industrial investment, and transparent long-term planning, elements that remain uncertain today. As Warsaw weighs its options, one thing is clear: the decision will shape not only Poland's armored forces but also the future trajectory of its defense industry for decades to come.